First and foremost, want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Wakwakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone who teach well and taught us the truth. Salutation, shalom to the elect, the hopeful elect. Shalom and salutations to the Akim, preaching this truth and sincerity. Present your bodies as a living sacrifice. Shalom to the few sisters listening or in silence. Mashiach from Camp Children of the Light at you with another one, and I'm gonna go ahead and entitle this one "You Either Got It or You Don't." So let's get right into it. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Yahweh Shah Mashiach, who is the image of God the Father Yahweh, should shine unto them. That's right. And these two verses pretty sum up the whole point of today's lesson, right? As I encounter Jake on a day-to-day, it can be exhausting, right? Being around other people that's not in this truth, especially when they claim to be men of the scriptures and when they try to break down these scriptures, specifically those of the Christian denomination. And what really pisses me off the most is when I see Jake and they're so concerned with Esau's salvation. They are more concerned with Esau's salvation than they are with their own salvation. If you go to the niggas in the world that's not in this truth, and when I say niggas, I mean the men of Judah and of Ephraim, right? Doesn't matter, right? Northern kingdom, southern kingdom, it doesn't matter. If you go to them and say, hey, brother, you an Israelite, the Lord loves you. This book is for you. This book is for, all of this is for your salvation. Yahweh Shah Mashiach, the Redeemer, is coming back to redeem those that were under the law. You know what? Most of them are spitting your fucking face. No, he coming back for everybody. I don't believe that. He's saving everybody. Everybody's going to get it. Everybody's going to get their chance at the kingdom of salvation. That really pisses me off the most, right? And then it just goes to show how many of our people are still asleep and how buried under the witchcraft of Babylon the Great they are. How drunk off the wine of fornication that these people are. So let's go ahead and take it slow. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. Right? So there's a separation. The separation is to them that are found and to them that are lost. And if you don't have this gospel, if you can't understand it, then you are among those that are lost. Right? And if you are lost, who do you belong to? In whom the God of this world, and who's the God of this world? Esau, those that are of the nation of Edom, right? Is not the spiritual demon Satan. He's not the God of this world. Esau is the God of this world because he's been given all of the power and authority of this world. He's that covering cherub, right? In whom the God of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not, least the light of the glorious gospel of Yahweh Shah, right? So it's saying the God of this world has blinded the minds of those that did not believe. So if our gospel is hid, it's because it is to those who are under the influence of the God of this world. And the only way that they could get this truth is if the light, the glorious light of the gospel of Yahweh Shah, right, who is the image of God, God being who? The Father Yahweh, should shine unto them. And because you got your black Christians and whatever, they're still arguing if and I'm using terms of the world. They're still arguing, they're still arguing if the Son is God or if the Son is separate from God. But see, if you have the gospel and if the glorious light is upon you, you see that there's a separation, right? Least the light of the glorious gospel of who? Yahweh Hamashiach, right, being that anointed one, the Son of God, who is the image of God. So how can he be the Son and the image, right? No, it says the glorious gospel of Yahweh Shah, who is the image of the Father, should shine upon them. See, it's so simple, and yet they can't get it because they are lost. They are lost. They cannot get this. They cannot get this truth. They cannot understand this gospel because they are walking in the image of the God of this world. They are walking in the image of Esau, Edom, Babylon the Great, right? This place which is spiritually Egypt, spiritually Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Okay, cool. So from there, let's move on to just to further show you the more separation. 2 Thessalonians 2, right? It says, I'm gonna start at 2 and 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed. Right? And the wicked has been revealed. Because who do we know to be in rulership, man? We know Esau to be in rulership, right? From the elites on down. We know that, when you talk about the Spanish Empire, right? When you talk about the Portuguese, the Roman Empire, man, that was all fucking Esau, right? Right on down to Great Britain, and then here we come into America, Babylon the Great, right? That wicked being revealed, man, because the Lord say He's gonna make Esau bare, and we're not ignorant to Satan's devices, right? Whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of His mouth, and how is He doing that today? Through the men of the Lord, right? His prophets, His teachers, right? That's teaching this truth, that's teaching the name Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, and shall destroy with the brightness of His coming. Okay, even him, right? And here we go. So He's gonna destroy the wicked, and He's gonna destroy the people. Even him, who's coming, right? Who's working is after the image of Satan, which is the adversary. So who is this first line referring to? Well, if we go back to 2 Corinthians, it's referring to those who are lost, those who the God of this world have blinded. They are going to be consumed and destroyed with the brightness of the coming of the Son of God, Yahweh Shah. Right? Because remember, if the gospel is lost to them, then they are walking in the image of the adversary, because the word Satan just means adversary, right? Let's look it up right here in real time. Adversary, right? So the word Satan, right? It just means adversary, one who opposes another purpose or act. In this particular instance, Satan, the adversary, opposes this gospel. He's in opposition to the truth. He's in opposition to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, which is why he's the God of this world. Right? Okay. So I'm just I'm reading it, but I'm reading it in layman's terms, right? Because the wicked has been revealed. And if the spirit is working on you, and the spirit is working with you and leading you, and Yahweh Shah supping with you, you're gonna know who that wicked is, man. Right? He come down with great wrath because he had but a little time. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. and with all deceivableness and unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of truth, that they might be saved. What is that love of truth? That they might not be saved, because this gonna line up with 2 Corinthians 2 and 4, right? Least the light of the glorious gospel of Yahweh Shaka Mashiach, who was the image of the Father, Yahweh, God, should shine upon them. See, this line lines up with this line, man. Because they receive not the love of truth, that they might be saved. Because they don't have the love of truth, they are blinded by the God of this world. So the gospel is lost unto them. And it pisses me off, because it's like you want to these are still our brothers, right? And I can't say I'm among the elect. I hope I'm among the elect, but I have received what the Spirit has allowed me to receive, to be able to receive this truth. So the water Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, that I have it on this side. And so, because out of brotherly love, you do want the rest of Israel to get this. You do want to be able to talk to somebody not in the truth, and break down the scriptures, and then they get it, right? Because you genuinely care, right? The scriptures tells us to go and teach and spread this word to the nation of Israel. So when you're talking to somebody not in the truth, you like, man, it's all here. It makes sense. I'm breaking it down. I'm going into the secular history. I'm going into the scriptures. I'm showing you, and they don't get it, and they still don't get it. But it's not meant for them to get, right? Because Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah don't want them to get it. But it still doesn't hurt, right? It's like if you go in 1 Samuel, when the Lord took his spirit from Samuel. When the Lord took his spirit off Saul, Samuel was still mourning Saul, and the Lord said, why Samuel do you mourn for Saul, seeing as I have removed my spirit from him? Because Samuel had loved Saul, and although Saul was fucking up and he went off, and the Lord judged him and took his spirit off of him, it still didn't hurt Samuel any less, right? And so it still doesn't hurt any less, because you want the rest of your brothers and your sisters to be able to get this truth, to accept the glorious light of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. So it does hurt, right? But they're not gonna get it because the Lord don't want them to get it, and let's see why. Right? Go ahead into Romans 11, starting in verse 7. What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. So whoever this is for, they're gonna get it. And whoever the elect is, the elect is chosen by grace, not by works, which the first line is going into, right? So whoever is meant to get, that's why I'm saying, right, you either got it or you don't. And if you don't got it, that's because it's not meant for you to have it. And if you got it, then you got to strive to hold on to it. Because as the scriptures say, for those in continuous patience strive for glory and immortality, man. And that's what it's all about. Because you have to, once you get this truth, you have to hold on to it and stay in the spirit. At least you fall by the wayside. If you go into Mark chapter 4, right, it gives the parable of the sower that came to sow, right? And so, but the election have attained it, and the rest were blinded. And I'm going to jump back, because if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world have blinded the minds. Right. So, the elect, they going to get this truth. And everyone else that wasn't meant to get it, they're going to be blinded. 11 and 8. As it is written, God, the Father Yahweh, have given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear unto this day. So they can't get it. They can't, because the Lord doesn't want them to get it. So if you got it, you was chosen to get it. That's why it says that the election have obtained it and the rest were blinded to it. And let me read that in the NLT. Right. So this is the situation. Most of the people of Israel have not found the favor of God they are looking for so earnestly. A few have, the ones God has chosen, but the hearts of the rest were hardened. Because you got niggas that'll say, where was God and Jesus doing slavery? And I saw a video that one of the Akims did earlier, and he said, well, shit, where was Oshun? Where was Buddha? Where was Thor? Where was Beyonce at? Where was the universe at? Huh? Where was Osiris at when your ass was in slavery? Huh? Where the fuck was they? Okay, but you were trying to give them the rightful glory that goes to Yahweh Bashem Yahusha. Right? Because they have not found favor from the Lord. Because the light of this glorious gospel has not shined onto them and got to their minds. Because they've drunken from the wine of fornication of Babylon the Great. Right? And that's why their minds are blinded by the God of this world. Right? That's why you have these plantation Christians. They can't get past the relationship between the Father and the Son. You know, they still thinking that the Son is the Father and they one whole person, and he praying to himself. But all through the scriptures, the Son is making clear separation that I am not the Father. I come to do his work. I come in the image of the Father. That's right. Because if if your parents raise you, you're going to go into the world with the characteristics that they've instilled in you, the morals, values, and principles that they've instilled in you. That's why you can see a well-behaved child and know what type of household they come from. You can see an unruly child and know the household they come from, but they can't even get something as simple as that because they blinded by the God of this world, man. And that's why when you try to tell these niggas, right now I'm mostly talking about niggas because that's who I mostly see rejecting the truth the most, man. They reject their heritage the most. Tell them they are Israelite. Give them all of the history. Give them all of the facts. They are going to reject it with everything in them. Tell them that they are favored, highly favored. They are chosen, anointed. They are the saints of the Most High. Tell them that the kingdom of heaven is only for them. They're going to be disgusted. Most of them niggas will reject the kingdom of heaven because the Edomites can't get in, because the Moabites can't get in, because the Elamites can't get in. Crazy work. And that's what really inspired me to do this lesson, right? Just looking around and seeing how Jake goes so hard for Esau's salvation, right? They care so much about the salvation of Esau that they will reject this because Esau can't get it, man. All right. We'll go back to Romans 11:8. According as it is written, God have given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see and ears that they should not hear unto this day. Right, and just how it was back in Paul's time, it's the same today unto this day. Right, as David saith, let their table be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them. And what's that table? This book, man. Because when they go to open this book, the Bible, on their table, they can't understand it. They can't get any knowledge, wisdom, or understanding from it. And that's why it becomes a snare to them and a trap to them. Right? Because, I'll give you an example. Yahweh Shah says, I have not come to do away with the law, but You let these niggas tell it, there's no more law. There's only grace. But if there is no more law, then that means there's no sin. If there's no sin, then there's no need for grace. You see how fucking simple that is, but they can't get it. Right? It tells you not to consume swine. It tells you that the mouse in the field and those eating swine behind a tree will be destroyed together. And yet they will still say, yeah, you can eat that pork, that pig, because you get grace, because quote my hand quotes, because Jesus came and did away with sin. So if there's no, he did away with the law. If the law was gone, there's no sin. So you don't need grace and you don't need Jesus. What the fuck? That's why their table is made a snare unto them, and they trap and they stumbling block. If you go into Acts 4:12, it says there's only one name under heaven, which all for all men to use to receive salvation. Acts 4:12, right? Neither is there salvation in any other. So this is saying, no, there is not salvation in any other. For there is none other. They're saying there's only one name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. This is clearly saying there is only one name under heaven given to men whereby we must be saved. See, and this goes back into Romans 11 and was it 8 specifically? No, 9. See, and that's why their table is a stumbling block to them. Because somebody will tell you it don't matter what the name is as long as you believe. But what does the scripture say? And this is New Testament for all of you. Well, he changed it. That's a different lesson to get into altogether. It's saying that there's only one name. And the name is not Yehoshua, it's not Yeshua. Because if you do the goddamn research, the modern day Hebrew is not Hebrew. It's German. It's German. That's not the dialect that was spoken in the ancient times. Because when Yahweh appeared to Paul, he spoke to him in what? The Hebrew tongue. See, what they speak today, that Yiddish, right? It's of a German dialect, which was created by Elazar ben Yehuda, who was a German Jewish lexicographer. I'll pull him up, right? Elazar ben Yehuda. Russian linguistics and lexicographer. Right. This guy, right, will be considered the father of modern day Hebrew, which is more Russian, which is more German than anything. So when you saying Yahuwah, that's not the fucking proper pronunciation. But that's why, because you blinded by the God of this world, the book that you reading becomes a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense unto you. You couldn't do right if you tried because you was given the spirit of slumber. And that's not to say that I don't sin or I'm not, because I do, right? I'm a man, right? Man, as a man, you're gonna sin. It is what it is. But you can't get it. Let their eyes be darkened that they may not see and bow down their back always. That's because they're blinded by the God of this world. They say, oh, the name of the son is Yehoshua, it's Yahuwah, it's Jesus. Oh, it doesn't matter what you say as long as you believe. No, that's not fucking true. Because what does Acts 4:12 say? There's only one name. Right? All right, bet. And so now Romans 8 and 9 and 10 is referencing Psalms. Right? For all of you, for any Old Testament, New Testament motherfuckers, right? So when you get into Psalms 60, the 69th chapter, that is what is referencing, going down to 22. right? And this is King David. He's talking about the Israelites. Let their table, Psalm 69:22, let their table become a snare before them. And that which should have been for their welfare, let it become a trap. What was for their welfare, man? The book. The book. The knowledge. The truth. The truth should have been for the welfare, man. You know what I'm saying? The instructions that we got from the Father God Yahweh during this time, right? The word, it should have been for their welfare. Let it become a trap. Let their eyes be darkened that they should not, that they see not, Salakia, and make their loins continually shake. Now, I think that goes into, now, this ain't on my list, but, okay, cool. Right, okay, all right. And so, what should have been for their welfare? Right? This is Deuteronomy 4 and 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments. This is Moses talking to the children of Israel. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord, all caps, Yahweh, my God, commanded me, that ye should do so in the land where the ye go to possess it. Okay, here you go. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is wise and understanding people. That's why King David said, which should have been for their welfare. You know what I'm saying? Going back, let their table, this book, become a snare before them, and that which should have been for their welfare, let it become a trap. And that's why these niggas cannot get it. But it doesn't hurt any less, right? Because, you know, if you genuinely care, right, for your people, for the Lord's people, right, it's gonna hurt. And it does. It still hurt because you just be like, man, I want my brother to get this. I want my brothers and sisters to understand. Northern Kingdom, Southern Kingdom, I want you to understand. I want so bad for you to get this truth, man. Okay? Now, so from there, I'm going to go to Mark, the 4th chapter. All right? And that's why let me find it. Okay, here we go right here. Okay, this is Mark 4 and 11, and this is Yahweh Shah. And he said unto them, unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of God. But unto them that are without, all these things are done in parables, that seeing they may see and not perceive, and hearing they may hear and not understand, least at any time they should be converted and their sins should be forgiven of them. And that's right. These people see, but they don't perceive. And they hear, but they don't understand. So that's why when they open this book, it becomes a snare and a trap unto them. Because they can't get these parables, man. And that's why it says, unto them that are without, all these things are done in parables. They can't get it. So you either got it or you don't. And on that note, I'm going to say shalom, shalom, shalom. Until next time, Kwam Yasharallah.